for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Would you please conduct the roll call?
Yes. Chairman Nolan,
Here.
Commissioner Abbey,
Here.
Commissioner D'Agostino. I see her. Can you unmute yourself, Commissioner? Christine?
I'm here, sorry.
That's okay. Commissioner.
I'm like talking to the phone. I didn't realize.
Okay, that's all right. Commissioner Vasquez? And Commissioner Yupka.
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum, Commissioner.
Great.
Also,
Thank you.
Also present on the line tonight is James Polis, the Executive Director, William Brennan, the CFO to the MCIA. I am Carol Berlin, General Counsel to the IA. Christopher Langhart is Bond Counsel to the IA. George Devaney is also on the line, and the Middlesex County IT representatives in attendance this evening are Chaz Fasano and Josh Cole.
Great. Thank you all for attending. Karen, would you read the sunshine law statement, please?
Certainly. This meeting today conforms with Chapter 231 Public Law 1975, called the Open Public Meeting Act, and as per the requirements of the statute, notification of the meeting was published in the Star Ledger and Home News Tribune and filed with the Clerk of Middlesex County.
Great. Thank you. James Polis, I think we have a recycling report.
Yes, we do, Chairman. Pleased to tell you that after a meeting with our vendor, they have vastly improved the level of service in the last couple of weeks, and we're very pleased with that. We had another lengthy meeting today finalizing details on the bid specification. As the board knows, the current contract for recycling ends March 30th of 2025. So we have to be well in advance of that with our bid specifications, state approvals, and then of course going out to bid and soliciting. So team's working very diligently on that. Had another recent inspection at our compost facility and I should say our leaf recycling facility. And again, 5 stars there, so compliments to the team.
Terrific. Any correspondence?
No, sir.
Any old business?
No, sir.
Any new business?
Just, would you like a quick update on the train stations?
Of course.
Okay, just to, we're continuing with our North Brunswick. We're past our 30% mark, so we're into the 40% portion of our design. Things are moving well with that. We have some additional information we need to obtain from Amtrak for our load flow studies, and they have committed that we should have that very, very shortly. We're still working through some concepts on the New Brunswick train station renovation. I want to thank our partners at New Jersey Transit. They facilitated and hosted a meeting in Newark this past week. We were up there for pretty much the entire day with some of their experts talking about some of the aspects of our plan, what to do, how to do it best. And we really appreciate the time and effort that they gave to us. So we're continuing to move forward with that as well.
Terrific. Thank you. All right, Carol, discussion of resolutions?
Sure. 8A, resolution of the Middlesex County Improvement Authority approving purchase of one 2024 XLT Ford Maverick pickup truck suitable to handle emergency pickups for the curbside recycling program. 8B, resolution of the Middlesex County Improvement Authority authorizing SAGE program officials as the authority's SAGE system representatives to allow the authority to submit SAGE applications to the New Jersey Division of Local Government Services. And 8C, resolution of the Middlesex County Improvement Authority granting certain approvals in connection with Middlesex County's purchase of certain outstanding bonds issued by the Middlesex County Improvement Authority for the construction of the Heldrich Hotel and Conference Room. 8D, resolution for payment of expenses.
Great, thank you. All right, we're going to vote for the approval of the minutes of the agenda session and regular meeting of May 8th, 2024. Can I get a motion and a second to approve the minutes?
Motion, Christine.
Second, Yusuf.
Thank you. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That will carry. All right, we're gonna have, we are gonna open to public comments on the resolutions. If you if the public has a comment on a resolution, please raise your hand and identify yourself, and you'll be permitted to comment. Charlie, out there?
We do have one raised hand. I'm going to be unmuting them now.
All right, great. Charlie, is that you?
Yeah, can you hear me all right?
We can hear you now just fine. Welcome.
Thank you, Chair. I have a question on 8C. I'd like to know more about the Heldrick Hotel and Conference Center. Is this a profitable business that the Improvement Authority is, I guess, trying to get more deeply invested in, or the county is trying to get more deeply invested in? I heard about this move at the county commissioners meeting and had some questions answered there, but I'm curious from the IA's perspective, why get more deeply involved in the Heldrick Hotel and Conference Center, and can anybody tell me if it's in the black?
Jim Polos, what can you tell about it? Tell us about it.
Sure. Good evening, Charlie. What I can tell you is this is a county initiative to purchase up to approximately $16 million worth of outstanding bonds. They've made a determination that they feel that being a primary bondholder with that project is going to be important to its future, especially as that project relates to the overall redevelopment of the downtown, the new projects that are going on, new office buildings, Helix, Cancer Institute, et cetera. They see that facility as being a primary element of that entire redevelopment, and therefore want to be more involved with it. All we're doing tonight with this resolution as an Improvement Authority is creating a process to facilitate the purchase of that, to make that process not only more efficient, but also less expensive for them to pursue. And that's really been the level of our involvement. So our involvement as an Improvement Authority was really the approach of the county to us to say, this is something that they wanted to do, and they asked us to help facilitate it.
Chairman, it's Chris Langhart. I agree with everything that was said, but I don't know if you want me to expound on it later or talk about it now, whatever you want.
If you would, Jim, what were you going to say?
No, I think that, no, it's up to Chris. I think that answered what Charlie was asking.
Yeah, it did.
Okay, then we're good. Charlie, we good?
Yeah, that was my only question. I'm glad that somebody else will chime in with more information when later in the meeting, I guess. Is that what I heard?
Well, I don't think he has I don't think he has something prepared. Like he's not going to give a prepared presentation, if you will. So if you thought there were more questions, you can ask them now or in the public session.
Sure. I guess, the question I have is on the buying out of the bonds, right? So you're buying out other people who are already invested in the project, or I guess the county is doing that through the IA. And I just wanted to know if that's subject to any, regulatory process or like approvals that are still needed, or is this a done deal?
Would you like me to answer, Chairman?
Please.
Yeah. So in this case, this is really a county transaction. The only reason we're involved is we were the conduit issuer of the bonds at the time they were issued back in 2005 and 2007. So the reason we're taking this action, as the executive director said, is to help facilitate the county buyback of the bonds. By having us have the offer to buy back initiated through the authority, it saves the county money, and it allows the agency that administers the bonds, DTC, to contact all the bondholders and make the offer of the buyback to them. So really, it's done at the behest of the county. It saves the county money, and it makes the transaction more efficient. Our role is strictly as a conduit. We don't get involved in the finances. We don't get involved in the payment, except to the extent of we collect the money and send it over to the bondholders.
Got it. Thank you. And so I guess another question that comes up is so it's up to the current bondholders whether or not they sell. It's just an offer. It's not, they're not going to be forced to sell, and some of them may not sell. Is that fair to say?
That's correct. It's just an offer that they're free to accept or ignore.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you answering the questions. I guess I would have liked to hear a little more detail on, the logic of the county and why they think it is important to get more deeply invested. But, maybe I can direct my questions to them if you don't have those answers. I think it's, would be good to know whether the Heldrick Hotel and Conference Center is a profitable business or if it's losing money and potentially, not in good financial health. I don't know that, but I would think that the board would want to know that before you cast a vote on this kind of resolution. But that's my 2 cents, and I appreciate you answering the questions.
Thank you, Charlie.
Okay.
All right, anybody else with public comments on resolutions only? Apparently there are not. So then I am going to ask for a motion, a motion to approve the resolutions, a motion and a second to approve the resolutions.
Motion, Paul.
Second, Yukna.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Yeah.
Anyone opposed? Anyone opposed? No one's opposed. That will pass. All right, so I'm going to ask for a motion to approve payment of the vouchers. So a
Chairman,
motion and a second.
If I could
Yes.
interrupt you, Chairman, for just a moment on this. Normally,
Yep.
it's a voice vote that we do, but Commissioner Abbey needs to recuse himself from this vote tonight. So if you
Well,
could, to get your motion,
is-
allow me to do a roll call.
Well, doesn't he have to recuse himself from one entry?
Right. But he can, well, all right, yes. If you want to do-
I believe he can just say he needs to be recused on, or you can say he needs to be recused on whatever that vote is, and then we can just do a roll call.
Right, but I just don't know what the line item itself is. The actual
Oh.
line item, Paul, I don't know if you can identify it.
It's the Medicare B reimbursement.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so he has a conflict on that. He's recused on that. So when he votes, if he votes aye, then you don't record his vote on that particular item.
Right, with the exception of that,
Right.
with the
We good?
exception of that item, yes, correct.
Okay, so otherwise
Okay.
I can vote aye, Jim, otherwise.
The rest
So
of
if you vote, if you
Correct.
aye, if you vote aye on everything, you're not going to be voting on that item. That item
Okay.
will be recorded
Thank you.
as you're not voting on.
as your recusal
Okay?
item. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Otherwise, can I get a motion to approve the resolution?
Motion,
And a
Christine.
second.
Second,
And a second,
Yukna.
please. Okay, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Anyone
You're
opposed?
muted again. Christine,
Yes.
okay. Are you voting aye?
Yeah, I said aye.
Okay, but you were muted and you,
Oh, sorry.
I don't know if I heard your,
Sorry, yes.
okay.
Very good. So I think, and no one opposed, right?
Right.
Very good. Okay. Let's see. So we paid vouchers. Okay, now we go to the public session. Charlie, do you have anything to add to the public session?
Yes. Good evening once again. Yeah, can you hear me all right?
We can.
Great. Charlie Cradaville, New Brunswick Today. I have an update for the board on my request to interview the executive director. I know I spoke to you, Chairman, today about this on Friday, July 5th. I heard from Mr. Polos that he was going to defer to Chairman Nolan on the interview request. And I followed up with you today, Mr. Chair, and you told me that you're not inclined to be interviewed and that you're also not going to make Mr. Polos available for an interview or even give him the choice or the permission to accept the interview request. So I'm disappointed in this and obviously hope that you'll reconsider. I did have a question, though, about the involvement of the county, the Office of Communications Director, Min Kim. Why did the County Communications Director respond on behalf of the MCIA with respect to this request? Can anybody tell me that? Because actually, before I heard from Mr. Polos, I heard from Min Kim, who I had not reached out to about this. Do you know why that happened, or you know what the county's role here is?
I am not aware of that conversation. The county obviously has a lot to say about the MCIA. We're all appointed by the county, and we work on the same sort of playbook, the same program, same direction, and we don't have that type of entity here in our organization. We don't have a public relations entity. So we certainly, although I wasn't part of that conversation, we certainly, defer to the county on many things.
What about Keywood Strategies, Mr. George Devaney? Is he not the public relations person for the MCIA?
I would say that his role is different. His role has to do with our projects, sort of promoting our projects and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But our direction, our direct comes from the county, with the county that appoints us.
Yeah, I understand that, and I feel like the county asks this board to do things, and you're sort of doing whatever they're asking without necessarily, doing the due diligence. And I know that I asked tonight about a matter where the county had asked you to make a big move. And, it might just be something they need you to do to sign off on a move that they want to make, but it didn't seem that the board had the information or the answers about the project that the investment is in. And, I don't mean to belabor that, but I just feel like the county is a separate entity. Yes, you're appointed by the county, but you do big things and important things. And I think that, having the county speak for you is a mistake. And I think that if you don't have someone on your team who's in charge of public relations, and Mr. Polos isn't going to be allowed to do an interview, then you need to get somebody on your team who is able to do that, and don't rely on the county, because sometimes the county has different interests. And I'm concerned about the politicization of the work of the Improvement Authority, and was concerned to see this, this email. So, I don't mean to make a mountain out of a molehill here, but, I think that, this board can do a better job of communicating, what the IA is doing. And one way to do that is to simply make your executive director available for interviews. The Utilities Authority did this. I interviewed Joe Cryan. It was a successful opportunity for me to get information, but also for the public to see Mr. Cryan answering questions about the utilities work. And, as you know, we're still not even on video for these meetings here. And, I don't get to see you in person very much. And whether it's you or Mr. Polos, somebody should be available for interviews. And I don't think it's right for the county to intercept and put the kibosh on what looked like it was going to happen, right? I mean, I'd asked about it at your last meeting, and Mr. Polos responded that he was going to work to make it happen. And it seemed like, a good positive step in the right direction. And, to see interference from the county stop a good thing from happening, disappoints me. And I hope that, even though this is a part-time thing for you, Mr. Nolan, I think that, you should be prioritizing getting out good information to the public. And as you can imagine, we're one of the only outlets that covers these board meetings.
All right, I'm on a
I'm
phone,
sorry?
so go ahead.
There's somebody else who's not muted.
Okay.
Go ahead, Charlie.
Well, thank you. I'm just coming to an end here, and I just wanted to ask you to reconsider the interview request, and I hope that we can have an actual sit-down, on-camera interview where someone can represent the Improvement Authority and not from any other entity, but the Improvement Authority. So wanted to express my disappointment. I do appreciate you hearing me out, and I hope that I do see you soon and hear from you soon.
Good. All right, thank you, Charlie. I have a little bit of a response, but let's keep in mind that one, I offered to have a text, not a text, an email conversation with you so that I could respond intelligently. So it wasn't, I didn't just tell you, I didn't blow you off. What Jim Polos does, I don't tell Jim Polos to give interviews or not to give interviews. That's a decision I left to him. Anyway, and the other thing I would say is, you mentioned that you thought we didn't have enough information on the Heldridge bonds, yet we had an expert here. We had our professional here for that purpose. So I would say that we've had all the information and it was available sort of at our fingertips, and it was provided, he talked about it, and he gave further information. So anyway, so that's all I have, and that, as far as I can see, seems to conclude the meeting. We don't have executive session. I don't believe there's anybody else from the public. Is there anybody else from the public that wanted to speak in the public session?
There are no raised hands.
Okay, if that's the case, then a motion to adjourn, please. Motion and a second, please.
Motion, Christine.
Second, Paul.
All those in favor, aye.
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 We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Take care.
Thank you. Good night.